Welcome to the recap for Stage 4 of Cape Epic 2021. Let's talk about the numbers right away. This was one of the shorter stages, 45 miles or 73 kilometers, 5,413 feet of climbing, or 1,650 meters. That gives us a climb to distance ratio of 119 feet climb per mile and 23 meters climb per kilometer. So that makes it so that it's kind of average for the majority of the stages that we have, but definitely not the climbiest, also not the flattest. This was a point-to-point stage rather than a loop, meaning that we ended in a different spot. So we went through different terrain, but really it wasn't anything unique. It was still a lot of rocky stuff, some smooth stuff, a lot of farm roads, a lot of some single track. This one did have a bit more road than previous sections, and it started out with some longer road sections. So that made it so that groups were tight and stuck together for the first half of the race. In terms of weather, it was still pretty warm in the mid to high 80s Fahrenheit. Got overcast toward the end of the day, but was sunny for the majority of the day as a big rainstorm is coming in. So that's kind of the basics on this course. And now we'll hear from the teams to hear how everything went. Stage 4 was, I had the bad day yesterday, and it was Brandon's turn this time to have a bad day, but in a different way. Brandon didn't have flat legs or anything, but nonetheless, a lot of trials. Race started fast with the less climbing as well. There was just less. It was still fast, but it wasn't too bad, really, in the beginning. And then once we hit a big mud puddle that I'm sure the other guests will talk about, everything strung out from there, and Brandon and I were moving forward in the race. Then what happened, Brandon?
I somehow got a rock between my chain ring and my chain, and I just thought like I popped my chain off. No big deal. But put it back on the next ascent, my chain popped off again. At that point, John was way ahead. He turned around, came back to me, mentioned that my chain had some sort of issue, but we were going to keep pushing forward. Unfortunately, the next ascent, chain came off again. So this time we did stop and really take a look at what happened. It wasn't an issue with my chain. It was an issue with my chain ring. It had basically turned completely inward.
The tooth completely, it went sideways instead of up.
So obviously it wasn't accepting a chain very, very good. So,
and even worse, it was right at 12 o'clock. If you're like looking at that. So that means that when Brandon's foot is forward, the chain was wanting to derail.
Yep.
Which is where you spend the majority of the time in static positions. So it was like,
yeah. So as long as I was pedaling, it would work fine. But the second I would descend or something like that, it would pop right off, which is terrifying. For one, we didn't have tools that were set to bend a chain ring back. So, we got creative, and John grabbed a rock, and we started banging on my chain ring as hard as we possibly could for the better part of 10 minutes. I think John was terrified that he was going to miss and hit the bike, but we never really got the chain ring to bend back. We just got the top part of it to kind of wear down and break off so that the chain did start to kind of mesh a little bit better. So then we started again. Chain fell off a couple more times. On top of that, I was in a really bad mood at that point. So I was chasing, we were chasing, and I was descending with a bad mindset and probably a little bit over my head. So on top of that, I crashed pretty hard, and hit my quad. It's all bruised and
it's massive and super swollen. I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we continued on, and it was a tough day.
Yeah. We don't know how much time we actually lost compared to what we would have done. We think probably somewhere around 12 minutes or so, probably overall, that is what we would have lost with this. But it was still, I think that we didn't move in GC in the overall at all, in men or the actual overall, which is kind of interesting.
I think there were a lot of mechanicals out there today. We did see a lot of people that had issues as well.
Yeah. It's just kind of The second half of the course was really tricky and really bit a lot of people, I think. Just the single track was off camber, loose bench cut the whole time, kind of tricky. So, some of you asked for numbers. So for this one, our time was 3:29, I believe. For this stage, it was shorter. It was 73 kilometers, like you'll hear in the intro there. But I think that I did 2:33 NP for that whole time, which doesn't sound like much, but there was a lot of that road start in the beginning, and then there was a lot of coasting that we had, a ton of coasting in the second half because it was like technical single track. So it just drives the numbers down quite a lot. So yeah, that's stage 4. So we've both had bad days now. And tomorrow we have the hardest, what is, I think, the hardest. It should have been the Queen stage. So it should be 3,000 meters of climbing or 2,900 meters of climbing. And it's effectively, I think it's like 90 Ks long. So really long.
It's going to be
and
fun.
It's supposed to rain. Not too bad, but it's supposed to sprinkle. So, but hey, we got all our bad luck out of the way.
Exactly.
That's it.
How's it, guys? Check in from stage 4, day 5. Yes.
Yeah, stage 4.
Stage 4, day 5, Thursday. Got that one right. Today was a little bit of a shorter day than the last couple of days. So it's nice to finish in just under 3 hours. We rode from Tolbach to Slanghoek. And then from there, we had a transfer to Wellington. The stage got shortened, not like last minute, but a couple of months ago because of the construction on Banskloof. So, yeah, it could look like an easy day because it was shorter and less climbing than in the, but overall made for some fast racing. Our best day so far for the week. We finished 14th.
Like I said, it was a shorter day. So time-wise shorter, distance-wise shorter, less elevation. And it was fast because most of it was open Jeep track or fire roads, I think, as they say in the US, fire roads. So it was kind of, we planned a bit of tactics, but then we didn't have to use them because it was flat. So we just sort of sat in the group the whole day, or I wish I could say the whole day. We sat in the group for a while and then lost the leading group and sat in a different group, and which was super nice because there was a lot of flat roads and sand and wind occasionally. So we sort of just saved energy in the group. And unfortunately, getting closer to the finish, my back decided to start hurting quite badly. And I couldn't really, my whole body was fine, but just no power coming. I couldn't get any power out. So it sucked. So we followed the group we were on and lost time to them. But in GC and that sort of thing, we haven't lost anything really. We've only gained places, which was quite cool.
Yeah, it's going better and better, riding ourselves into it. So.
Today was easy as a stage and relatively easy compared to all the other stages so far. So it was nice to save some energy for tomorrow, which I know we've said we've done the Queen stage twice, but I think tomorrow could be the Queen stage because we have 80 Ks to go tomorrow with about 3,000 meters of climbing, just under 3,000 meters of climbing. And there's also quite heavy rain predicted for tomorrow and the coming stage. So what could look as a short stage could end up as a long day in the saddle. Hopefully not. And if so, hopefully everyone has one. So we stay in the same place if we're still looking at GC. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think of all the stages, tomorrow is probably the one I'm most scared of. I think we've had some tough days, but if I can just feel the day I felt the way I felt today, I think obviously it's not really comparable, half the amount of climbing, and it's something that suits me a little bit better. But I think if I can just have a decent day tomorrow and we can just ride a steady race and try and finish strong and not completely broken. I think after tomorrow, obviously Saturday is also going to be hard, and then Sunday is the last day. But I think tomorrow will be a big day for everyone. I think it's where moves will be made. But I think
not that we're involved, but
we're still moving up and ticking over day by day. So happy.
It probably sounds pretty monotonous hearing us say the same strategy for every day, but that's, I guess, what consistency is. So as long as we just keep it consistent, it's probably very boring racing from our end because we just try to keep it consistent. So tune in when we're on, and then just check that we're okay, and then you can watch the front bunch. We always appreciate the support.
Hi, I am back. We finished stage 4, and oh my goodness, am I excited. They finally let me start in what I think is the fastest corral that solo riders can start in, which is Corral C. So we start 10 minutes behind the A corral, which is the fastest masters, co-ed, all those teams. So our start was really fast. We had 2 of the pro guys kind of set pace, and I made sure to be in front because I wanted to stay out of trouble. I didn't know how the group worked, so I kind of just wanted to be, top 5 wheels. And I definitely there was like 4 of us kind of up front, but only 2 guys doing work because every time it would be my turn to go to the front, it was just like a descent. So then the next guy would just pass me really quick. But I put in the effort, which is all that matters. And yeah, the stage was super fast. I was the last rider to be able to hang with those 2 pro men. I was going VO2, and I'm pretty sure they were just chilling at tempo, which was funny because I felt like they kept looking back and seeing that I was still tucked in there suffering. And yeah, the rest of the stage was fast. The climbs weren't too long. Some were a little bit technical. And I just had a really good day, fast day, good legs. And I think the last 5K, at least I thought it was 5K, it turns out it was more like 8K. I put in a really big dig to, make some time up and pass some guys that kind of were slowing the group down just because I wanted to check them. And it turns out that I ended up setting a faster time than both the co-ed winners and the pro women winner, which I was very happy about. And I think part of that is because throughout the whole course, I would always catch master men, or they would just kind of make contact with me right at the bottom of a descent, and then they would go really fast for a minute, which actually would help me, where the elite women do not get to drop off of anybody. So I think those girls are obviously way faster than me, but it was nice to have finally a competitive time. And tomorrow we start a really big day and a lot of climbing, so I'm hoping I can kind of put in the same performance and have some good legs, and we'll see what happens. We're almost done with the stage race, so we're getting really close. So far, I haven't had any mechanicals, knock on wood, and yeah, see you guys tomorrow.